Tuesday. Welcome into the Early Edge. I'm Erik Kuselias, and as you see, remember when you were a kid and sometimes you had that like variety pack of cereals and you had all these great ones coming in? That's what we have today. Not only do I have 3 great cereals with me today, I also have NBA playoffs about to start. I have the NFL draft right around the corner and Major League Baseball ready to roll. And that brings in Matt Snyder, Mike McClure, and Larry Hartstein, and we are ready to roll. And let's start there. Why are we starting with baseball? Here's why. Because Mike McClure and his record has demanded we start here. Mike McClure is 9-0 against the spread in baseball to start the year. He's making a mockery of wagering. I mean, what are we doing? Yankees, Jays, basically in a coin flip north of the border, rush records for everybody. Guardians in Boston. I am still, at some point in time, I'm going to bet against the Red Sox like 12 straight nights and make money because I don't believe. Clergy in Milwaukee. Braves, Astros, 2 good teams down there in Texas, and the Cubbies, who are slugging right now, taking on the NL champs in Arizona, all part of your notable games. All right, let's do it. What's your best play? Give me one, your best one. Michael McClure, the floor is yours. Your Honor, Your Honor.
Start with the San Francisco Giants here tonight, EK, on the road against Miami. I like the price point, minus 125 on the Giants money line. I priced this all the way up to minus 142, and it's really wanting to pick on Ryan Weathers a little bit, the lefty here. This Giants team, very good against left-handed pitching. They do not strike out against lefties. But when I look at Weathers, the average exit velocity against him this year, 93 miles per hour, very, very close to having literally every baseball put in play being a hard-hit baseball. And it's really that barrel rate that has been there most of his career. I think this Giants team, especially the right-handed hitters, are going to be able to get after him tonight. So I like them minus 125. I would play it all the way up to minus 140.
I like the White Sox tonight, and I like them to lose by multiple runs, which is what they've been doing basically every single day because they can't score. I mean, 5 runs in their last 4 games. 5 runs in 5 games against the Kansas City Royals. They're missing 2 of their best bats. The manager says they're working on hitting the fastball. But, you know, isn't that kind of basic to Major League Baseball? Shouldn't these guys already know how to hit a fastball? Brady Singer faced this same lineup earlier this season. It only took him 72 pitches to go 6 1/3 innings. Play the Royals, play them on the run line.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. In fact, I was trying to find a way to creatively just fade the White Sox offense. The team total was 3.5, and there was a ton of juice on it. So I settled on Brady Singer to get the win at minus 125. Look, the White Sox are awful. They're 2-14. They're the worst team in baseball. They average 2.13 runs per game. They've been shut out 6 times out of 16 games. 3 other times they only scored 1. So more than half of their games, they've either scored 0 or 1 run. Brady Singer with a 0.98 ERA right now. He looks like he's having another breakout season just like he did 2 years ago. A little bit of a backslide last year, but I think he's back on track this year. He's going to work deep into this game against a terrible White Sox lineup, and the Royals are going to win. So either Larry's pick or my pick or both.
Well, I'll make it 3's a crowd. I'll go Pulp Fiction. Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. Look, I know this number's climbing, but as long as it's under $2, I'm going with Kansas City. Not only do I get Brady Singer, and I know he's not been as good on the road as he's been at home, but it's still the White Sox. I mean, they're terrible. They're dreadful. And they're starting somebody making his major league debut who had a 5.77 ERA in Double-A last year. I mean, they're almost not really a major league team. And you can't tell me, and I make it about a 71% in my simulations that the Royals win the game. So anything under $2, yeah, I'll be honest, I feel a little dirty taking a minus 190. Don't get me wrong. I'll take whatever abuse you want to give me there. I'll earn it. But still, you find value where you find value. And I make this an over $2 line, and I'm getting it under $2. And earlier today when I grabbed it, it was $1.70, which went to $1.80, and now is at $1.90. I'll kick off the second round because then one more. Give me your second best play. And I'll go Yankees, Jays, and I'll go first 5 under. Carlos Rodon, Yusei Kikuchi are both very good, and they metric out higher for me than what I see in this particular spread. And if you look at the Yankees' last 5, their median run scored is 3 for the game. And if you look at the Jays, they've been slow starters, and their last 5, their median is 4. So I like first 5 under 4.5 here. This checks a lot of boxes for me. Yankees, Jays, first 5 under 4.5. Michael.
I'm going to back the Yankees side here, EK. I think the price point is extremely friendly. You can find this between even money and minus 110, depending on where you're shopping in the market. I have them winning this game 56% of the time. That implies minus 127. I think the starting pitching matchup is pretty equal here, but I think the Yankees have a distinct edge when it comes to the bullpen and the overall offensive power at any given moment. So I like the Yankees in this one. I think they're undervalued against a matchup with Kikuchi that is frankly very, very familiar to this organization. I'll take them at the very cheap price today, minus 110 all the way down to even money.
Yeah, I like both of those plays. I mean, Rodon in particular, his splitter that he kind of introduced this season has been really effective for him, and he's starting to step up. But I don't want to digress too far from my play. And I'm going to go all the way down to Houston, and I'm going to go with the Braves offense in this one. It's over 5.5 at plus money, which is great because they're averaging almost 6.5 runs per game. They've been over 5.5 runs 10 of their 15 games so far, and they get Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown last time out made dubious history for the Astros when he only got 2 outs, so 2/3 of an inning, and he allowed 9 runs on 11 hits. The 11 hits in less than an inning was a major league record. He has been kind of broken, kind of a disappointment last season. He looked like he might be with the type of rookie that could break through in Houston. A little disappointing. This year, he's just straight up and bad, and it was a disaster last time against the Royals offense, which is good, but it's not nearly as good as the Braves. The Braves should feast on him. And I also wanted to point out, I got a little sprinkle on the SportsLine website right now on Ronald Acuna Jr. to hit a home run. He hasn't hit one yet. For me, that's not scary. That means he's due. And he was 2 or 4 last night with a double. Last year against Hunter Brown, 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. He's due. I like him to go yard.
I like the Marlins to kind of do what the White Sox are doing. They're the NL version of the White Sox at 3-14. And I'm going to play the Giants just like I did yesterday. The Marlins don't have their leading RBI man, Jake Berger. They erupted for 3 runs yesterday. That was a big outburst, but their OPS below 600, and they got to face Jordan Hicks, who's been lights out with a 0.83 whip. And Ryan Weathers on the mound. He's going to see 8 right-handed bats in the lineup for the Giants, and he is a major regression candidate, an ERA in the 2s. The expected ERA almost 7. The price on the Giants pretty cheap, minus 125.
Yeah, I just grabbed that Giants first 5 money line. I'm going to play against Weathers too. You both convinced me. Mike the first time, Larry the second time. Very well done, gents. Excellent job. Let's get a little happy recap to go old school Mets broadcast on you there. Matt Snyder likes Singer to get the win and Braves to score some runs, 6 or more. Mike McClure, again, 9-0 in baseball. 9-0 to start the year. You know, give somebody else a turn. Just kidding. Giants, Yankees. Larry, they'll go Royale with cheese and the Giants, and I like the Royals on the money line, and then I'll go Yankees and Toronto first 5 under 4.5. All right, get a sip of water. We got the NBA. Oh, baby. Playoffs essentially starting, kind of, because it's the play-in tournament. Do you want to bet on or against LeBron? On or against Steph Curry? Best play you can make next. I'm Erik Kuselias. Yeah, early edge. Back in on the early edge. I'm Erik Kuselias. All right, NBA play-in games tonight. And again, not everybody still gets this. All right, people say, why isn't 7 play in 10? Okay, 7 and 8 play. Winner is in. 9 and 10 play. Loser is out. And then the loser of 7 and 8 plays the winner of 9 and 10 for the final spot. So, Lakers and Pelicans will make the playoffs unless they lose 2 straight. Warriors and Kings will not make the playoffs unless they win 2 straight. So either the Warriors or the Kings, their season ends tonight. Losers out. Lakers, Pelicans winner, they are definitely the 7 seed in the West. Let's get everybody in. Tim Doyle will be on the call for these games. That's going to be a lot of fun. Look, got the bag out already. Mike McClure is in, DFS multimillionaire, and Sir Lawrence of Jersey. Larry Hartstein jumping aboard, my guy on SportsLine. All right, let's start with the Lakers and the Pelicans. Look, I know the public wants to bet the Lakers here, right? And this number, the Pelicans are favored. 224.5. Brandon Ingram is back. Let's get your feet wet, Timmy. Who do you like and why?
Oh, these teams have played 4 times. 4 times, okay? The Lakers have won 3 of them by 16 points or more in every one of their wins. Why is this line New Orleans -1.5? I'll tell you why. LeBron don't want to see Denver. LeBron doesn't want to win this game. This is bad if the Lakers win. At 21 years in the NBA, he understands the better matchup is the Lakers taking on the Thunder. So at LeBron, going to roll the old dice. Let's not forget. Got a gambling show. He's going to be doing football picks this year. He's going to be rolling the old dice here saying, I would rather play at home and take on that either Warriors or Sacramento winner. And then if we win that game, we actually have a legit shot to beat the Thunder. You want to avoid the Nuggets at all costs if you're the Lakers. I repeat, Larry, I'm going to be hammering the Pelicans in this game.
And the money has started to shift towards the Pelicans, even though Anthony Davis says he'll play. LeBron is probable. I'm going on Brandon Ingram to play a lot more minutes than he did on Sunday. That was his first game back. He missed 12 games with a knee injury, played 23 minutes, still grabbed 5 rebounds after the game. No issues at all. Full practice, going to play 35 minutes. And he said in his post-game quotes, we need to play with more force. He probably said it like 3 times, which means get on the glass because the Lakers did embarrass them in the paint. Brandon Ingram to get at least 5 rebounds, which he's done the last 3 meetings against the Lakers with 5, 5, and 7. Let's go over 4.5.
I think you guys make excellent points here. I want no part of a side because of the confusing motivation on the side of the Lakers. I do think it's in their best interest to still win the game and only have to play 1. But when you look at this game here, for me, I'm going under 224.5. This number has come crashing down from 228.5, but I don't think it's far enough. I made the number 221 here. When you get to this point in the season, it's playoff basketball for real, not even a 7-game series. The stakes are extremely high. The defensive intensity typically shows up here at this point, and the pace of play will slow down, especially on the side of the Lakers. They're a team that wanted to get out and run a lot during the regular season. I think that changes in the postseason. I think you play a lot more half-court offense. You try to get a quality look with LeBron and AD. You've got superstars with Zion and Ingram on the other side. That, to me, leads to a lot of shot clock usage, slower pace of play, going under the total here in Lakers-Pelicans.
It's only a lean for me, but I am going to go head-to-head with Mike on this. I do lean over the 224.5. Brandon Ingram is back. That juices the offense for the Pels. Zion right now is in his zone on one end of the court, and that's the offensive end of the court right now. And that, to me, drives this total up. And when I look at NBA overs, and I do bake in that it's the playoffs, and we know that we're going to have a little bit of they'll let them play a little more grind it down. But it's the first game, and it's almost kind of like a half playoff game. The key to the over is to have a close game that isn't a one-possession game. Those games really speed up late third and into the fourth, and I project this to be exactly that. I think there's very little blowout potential, and I don't think this is going to really just stick there back into a 2-point even game for a quarter and a half. So I do think there will be moments where we really can speed up and go over the 224.5. I will say, though, this is a lean for me. This is not a play. And of the 4 games, this is kind of, I like the ones, I tell you, I like the East better than I like the West. Let's go to the other game out West, and that's the Warriors and the Kings. Golden State 10-2 in their last 12. That's the best in basketball. And the Kings right now, they're beat up, right? No Malik Monk, no Kevin Huerter. And if you look at the betting trend here, Golden State is 27-14 on the road, and the Kings are 18-23 at home. It feels like everything is telling you to check the Warriors and their history and their guys, but this number's not moving, despite the fact that it seems like everybody's taking the Warriors. I smell a trap here, Tim Doyle. I am scared to take Golden State, but I know I'm not taking the Kings. What are you doing?
Seems too easy, right? I mean, no doubt about it. They played 4 times. 3 of those games have been decided by 1 point. Now, I called Sacramento's game last week against the Pelicans, and man, they were terrible. The Pelicans shot 60%, scored 135 points. Eric, they made 22 threes. Defense for the Kings is strictly optional, but they're going to be at home. Crowd's going to be electric, and they have the ability to make 18, 19 threes in a game, be wildly exciting, and win. I think that, you're getting no value with the Warriors. I'm going to bet them on the money line because I am predicting Warriors, Lakers, most watched play-in game of all time to see who makes the playoffs. Steph versus LeBron in LA. All TVs will be on for that game. So that's my philosophy, and I'm sticking to it. Give me Warriors on the money line.
I like it, Tim. I'm going back to the total again, though. Once again, another under. I think these numbers have not adjusted enough for the difference between regular season and elimination basketball, which is what you have here in this game. I went under the 224. Once again, I made the number 222, so more of a lean than a full play like I liked on the Lakers-Pelicans game. But this Kings team isn't playing with the pace that they have in years past. I think that they continue to have that home court edge just a little bit, but still play a more controlled version. Ultimately, I think this is still a half-court basketball game once again, so I'm going under the 224.
Well, Tim talked about the Kings, a team capable of putting up 23s or making 23s. Keegan Murray is a guy who could put up 12 threes himself. That's what he's been doing down the stretch. He has total free reign because the focus is on De'Aaron Fox. The focus is on Sabonis. Somebody else is getting those open threes, Harrison Barnes or Keegan Murray. Without Malik Monk, without Kevin Huerter, at home at the Golden One Center, this guy shoots over 40% from deep. He's only 31% on the road, but he loves shooting at home. So I'm playing him over 3.5 3-pointers, big plus money payout, and we could all cash even if Keegan Murray gets hot.
Yeah, I have Golden State money line, but I will say this. It's like we ordered dessert, and I ordered a nice piece of, a pie, and then Larry's dessert comes out, and it's 8 waiters in a row. They have the thing. It's got the flames shooting out of the top, and I'm like, I should have got that. That's better than what I got. I mean, I have Golden State money line, but I like your play better, Larry. I mean, you got everything. It's electric. They're doing the electric slide, boogie, oogie, oogie on their way to the table. That's the play to me. I think you've kind of cracked this thing. And as you pointed out yesterday, there are some 2.5s you can find if you shop. I mean, it goes to minus money, but I love that even more. If you want to play the plus 146 at 3.5, but you can find a 2.5 and it goes down, it changes radically, obviously, the odds, but you're still at minus 132, minus 138, and you can find a 2.5 as well. All right, so let's do the happy recap and find out what we like with the Warriors and the Kings and what we're going with all the 2 Western games here. Timmy Doyle, he's going Pels and Warriors, money line. Let's not mess around. Mike McClure, one word, under, the Undertaker. Larry Hartstein, he's going prop, and I will go over on the Lakers Pels, and I think he's right. I think he kind of cracked the code with that Keegan Murray there. All right, straight ahead. That is the Western Conference playing games. How about the Eastern Conference? I like the Eastern Conference ones better. I think there's a couple of real opportunities in this series or in these one-gamers. We'll tell you what the best play you can make is next. I'm Erik Kuselias. Yeah, early edge. All right, back in on the early edge. I'm Erik Kuselias. Here's the Wednesday NBA play-in games. That'll be tomorrow. So the 2 West games are tonight. The 2 East games tomorrow night. And again, if you're wondering why it's set up this way, we'll get used to it eventually, but not everybody understands it right out of the gate. 7 and 8 play. Winner is the 7 seed. If you win, if you're the Sixers or the Heat, you just make the playoffs. If you lose, you drop down and play the winner of 9 and 10 for the final spot. So, Bulls-Hawks is an elimination game. You lose, you're out. You win, you get one more chance. So the Hawks and the Bulls have to win 2 to make the playoffs. Heat Sixers make the playoffs unless they lose 2. And you see Sixers 4.5-point favorites, Bulls 3.5-point favorites. Totals radically different, 206.5 in that first one, 220.5 in the second one. All right, everybody in the pool, I'm Erik Kuselias, Larry Hartstein, Mike McClure, Tim Doyle. Let's go Heat, let's go Sixers. I like these two better than I like the West two. I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say. Let's start with you, Timmy D. What do you like with the Heat and the Sixers in Philly?
I'm going to take the Heat here plus the points. I think the points could end up being the difference. In the matchups this year between these two teams, every single one of their matchups was in single digits, 6, 7, 8, so close game. And, we've been waiting all year for the Heat to flip the old switch. And here's the deal. I'm a racetrack guy, okay? I used to go to the track. There'd be guys there, great nicknames, Johnny the Mustache, Mikey Northfield, Bobby Van, and we would get the old program out, and past performances show the Heat in the postseason, pretty good, right? Jimmy Butler's 35 years old. He can't bring it all regular season, although he did shoot a career high from 3 this year. Here's the deal. Trust. You have to say it out loud. Do I trust the 76ers? Oof. Right? We've seen this movie in the postseason. I know they're great with Embiid, and Embiid was going to win the MVP, but is he really at 100%? You just feel like if Miami gets in, look out, and everybody, and I repeat, everybody wants the 2-7 matchup instead of the 1-8. So they are going to go all in to win this game. Give me the Heat plus 4.5. Hammer time. Love them in this spot.
Timmy, Joel Embiid looked pretty good in the 5 games that he played. All Philly wins, 30 points, 9 boards, 50% from the field, 10 free throws a game. And there's a reason the Cavs tanked that last game of the regular season. They don't want to play the 76ers, who are basically as good as anyone in the East, maybe outside of the Celtics. 8 straight wins coming in, great moves at the trade line. Melton is healthy. I don't think the Heat have the magic this year like last year. I'm going to lay the points.
And I'm going to look at the total here, guys. I typically look to unders in these spots, but I actually like the over in this one. I think the market's moved a little too much down to 206.5. I made the number 209, which is right where the market opened. It's a very low number in the NBA, but what Larry mentioned kind of stood out. It's Joel Embiid. He's been absolutely fantastic, and he's basically able to get to the foul line at will. I think this is going to be a very, very competitive game, one that both teams desperately want to win. I think it features a lot of free throws in the second half of this one. And like Tim mentioned, I think it's going to be very competitive, likely a one-possession game here overall. So I think overtime is absolutely in play, but definitely a lot of points in the final few minutes of this one. Let's go over 206.5.
I usually play unders, and I try to find unders in all the sports that we do, but this one crunched as an over that I like a lot. First of all, Jimmy Butler is an offensive demon when he plays against the Sixers. He is 28-8-6 against them when you look at his numbers last year in the playoffs and over the last 2 years, pretty consistent. And Joel Embiid, not only are they 31-8 when he plays, but tell me why, right? Don't tell me what, tell me why. What doesn't help a gambler? Why helps a wagerer? When he plays, they score more than 10 points a game higher than without him, and they give up more when he plays as opposed to when he doesn't play. So the Sixers actually score and give up more with Embiid than without him, and Jimmy Butler plays great on the offensive end against the Sixers, and they haven't adjusted the total accordingly. It's still a very manageable 206.5 OVER Heat Sixers. That's one of the ones I really like. I also like this one, Hawks Bulls in Timmy Doyle's home city of Chicago. Well, I mean, where he lives now, he's a Long Island boy, where he grew up, little Timmy Doyle. I love the pictures he always shows, 4 foot, 9 inches taller than everybody else in little bitty basketball, dunking on future accountants. There he was. What do you like tonight with the Hawks and the Bulls?
Thanks for picking on me. I didn't know this was going to be a therapy session, but yes, I was 6 foot in 6th grade, and Larry and Mike, I still had 12-year-old emotions, okay? I was scared of the thunder. I would jump in bed with my parents, and they'd be like, dude, you're like a grown man jumping in bed with us, okay? So thanks. Let me get that off my chest, all right? I'm in Atlanta because I'm on the call tonight of the Western Conference playing games, okay? Here's what the Hawks are. I was thinking about this game, and I was thinking about when I travel back home, I have this conversation with my lovely wife of 11 years often, okay? Because, I'll be putting in some plays, maybe betting a little aqueduct, a little golf stream. And she says this to me, and this is so true about the Atlanta Hawks. She goes, you're here, but you're really not here, right? And that's what I feel like the Hawks are doing. Like, they're going to show up to play basketball, but it's not very good basketball. Like, every time they have a win, you're like, all right, no. Now they're going to turn it around. Because on paper, they're pretty good. But when they're there, they're not very good. I'm not laying 3.5 with the Bulls. I'm going to take the Bulls on the money line here. If the price is too high, maybe you want to throw it in a parlay. I just don't trust the Hawks. I trust my wife, all right? I trust me. We're doing fine, okay? The therapy is working. Things are going well. I'm trying to be more present when I'm home, okay? But I'm going to go Bulls money line here. And, let's keep the people of Chicago happy. Let's do it.
Timmy, I don't trust either of these teams, and the only guy I really trust on the court is DeMar DeRozan because he gets the ball every single time down, he isolates, and he either hits one of those mid-range or he gets to the foul line. He's averaging 31 points a game this month. He's averaging 41 minutes this month, and that's who they're going to ride, and the Hawks don't have Sadiq Bey to stop him, so I think it's going to be a lot of DeMar DeRozan over 29.5 points.
I like that play, Larry. It's definitely going to be a lot of DeMar DeRozan, and that speaks to the style of basketball that Chicago plays. In a playoff one game like this, it's very hard for that team to blow anybody out, which is why I think you have to take Atlanta when you're getting over a full possession in an NBA game, just the way you can score at the end of the game. And when you look at the scores on the court, like, is it going to surprise anyone if Trae Young makes 6-7 threes here, or Bogdanovich is hot off of the bench, or for this Hawks team? I think that the Bulls are the better team here. I think they should be favored on their home floor like this, but I don't think it should be up over a full possession considering the style of basketball that they play. Don't like either one of these teams, but when you're giving me over a full possession, I've got to take the points here with the Hawks.
I'm going to the Hawks team total. I'm going under 109.5 in this one. I try to find unders, and I find value here. Pace for the Bulls, 24th. And if you look at it, if they were even just a little slower, they'd be like 29th. So it's not like 24th, but like 12 to 24 is about the same. They're actually at the higher end of the cusp, and they're really a slow paced team. Also, their guards, that guard room is the best defensive guard room, or second best, maybe third at the worst in the NBA. Their guards play D. So their defensive strength goes right into where Atlanta wants to score the basketball. So I'm going to be able to dig in at home, playing D the way I want to play, strength on strength with a slow pace game. And you got to get to $110 in what'll be a playoff environment and a playoff whistle. I expect the pace to be even slower, that defense to be allowed to do even a little more, and I like the Hawks under 109.5 as a team total in this one. All right, let's get everybody up and see what they're doing here. So we want to recap this so you can see what our guys like. Larry and Timmy will go head-to-head on the Heat and the Sixers. All right, and you see the Hawks plays there, plus with Mike. Timmy will go Bulls money line. So, we do have some head-to-heads, kind of. The only true head-to-head, that Heat-Sixers head-to-head with Larry and Timmy. And I like over in one game and team total under in the other. All right, who do you want to bet to win the NBA title right now? There's a way to play this that you can get this done and have a really smart wager. East, West, best play, final. NBA, report to the dance floor. Next, I'm Erik Kuselias. Yeah, Early Edge. All right, back in the Early Edge, I'm Erik Kuselias, Timmy Doyle, Larry Hartstein, Mike McClure in. What if we had the Eastern future in our hands and we could look into the crystal ball and figure out who was going to win the East? What would it look like? Where are the odds? And where's the best play? Obviously, the Celtics are going to be the big favorites, but is there another way to play this? Because they're not giving Boston away. Now, one thing I always say, people say, do you want the Celtics or everybody else? You don't get everybody else. You get the 3 teams who play the Celtics, right? That's it. You're getting 3 teams. You don't get everybody else. The 3 teams who play the Celtics. So, is it the Celtics or somebody else? Where do we want to go if we look at the East? Where's the best play? Larry Hartstein, you're first.
Well, this number is coming down, but I still think value on the 76ers. This was the team with the best net rating up until 2024 when injuries started to hit, and now they're healthy. They added Buddy Hield. They added Kyle Lowry. DeAnthony Melton is back, and Joel Embiid is an MVP, and you just added him, and they're 8-0. And would it surprise anyone if Nick Nurse, who has won an NBA title, outcoaches Joe Mazzulla in a Eastern Conference Finals? I like the way this sets up for the 76ers if they get that 7 seed to go all the way and take the East.
No doubt there's some value on the 76ers side, but I am on the chalk here on the Celtics. This team is clearly the best team in what I think is a watered-down Eastern Conference overall, but it's really how they're doing it. Unheard of offensive rating, really strong defensive rating, but perhaps the thing that I like most is they do it while playing with a well below league average pace of play. They're just in control. They're a fantastic basketball team that has all of the pieces to play playoff basketball. I think this is their year to at least get to that final. I like it here still at minus 190. I honestly believe this still should be a minus 250 price point.
I'm just laughing because I have the Magic. I just went like, you ever get free bets? By the way, thank you for those. We need more free bets. And I have the Magic at 40-1 in 2 different free bets to win the Eastern Conference. Now they're 65-1. So I guess I don't even have much value in these bets. I made them like 3-4 months ago. You know, when I have a late night, Eric, I look like Elvis directly before he died. Like I'm bloated and stuff. But I'm going to take a page from the King and say, it's now or never. Like, if you don't win this year in Boston, they brought in Porzingis, they brought in Drew Holiday. EK, what are they going to do? Break them up again? Like, I can't see. I've been on the 76ers train before with Harden, so I get what Larry's saying, but man, they broke my heart so many times. If you're thinking of betting the Bucks, come out to Chicago. I'll kick you in the shin. I'll give you half the money back that you're thinking of wagering. They have no chance, okay? So, I can't really make a case for anybody else in the East. So I think the Heat are intriguing if they can flip that switch. So I think it's Boston or bust.
We need a game show because I literally wrote down Celtics, Sixers with a question mark, and then wrote nobody else. And that's what we got. I mean, that's what I mean. Look, minus $1.90 offends me. No. I saw that movie last year. It wasn't that good. I mean, they did it once. They're not doing it again. That's too many games in a row, right? And no, the Sixers maybe. Because they're 31-8 with Embiid. If he's healthy and they get on a roll, maybe. Especially because if they win, they would get in the 7 seed. They'd be on the opposite side of the Eastern Conference bracket than Celtics. And then maybe he gets a little, more into it as things go. Completely healthy when they get there. And all the pressure on Boston. I think that's the only way you could do it. You either take the long shot with the Sixers or you take the chalk with the Celtics. And that is the only 2 teams that I could see coming out. All right, let's go west, young man. That's Horace Greeley for you historians. He's the one who said that. Anyway, the West is brutal. Brutal. I mean, just look at the first round series. Either Anthony Edwards or Kevin Durant is going home, right? Either Kawhi Leonard or Luka is going home. I mean, this is ugly. This is the SEC in football in their heyday. Who's coming out of here? I don't know. I'm just trying to find Alabama. What's the best bet out west? Timmy, you're first here.
I think it goes through Denver. I know it's kind of boring to take the 2 chalks here, but you could go through every team, and I'm sure Mike and Larry will, of, yes, there's some intrigue and there's some superstars, but man, there's some pimples. And they are some really ugly whiteheads that I always pop whiteheads. I don't know about you guys, but I just can't touch so many issues with so many teams, whether it's youth or health or defense or too old. So at the end of the day, I said this before and I'll say it again. That guy right there is the modern day Larry Bird, the modern day Magic Johnson rolled into one. And in every single year in the 80s, one of those guys made the finals. I'm not betting against Jokic at the height of his powers, so give me the Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's the Denver Nuggets here. You got the best basketball player on the planet in Nikola Jokic. They've been here before. I love Jamal Murray. He simply plays his best basketball against the best competition. But you have to talk about the other supporting cast. Michael Porter Jr., just a freak athlete that can go have big games at any given moment. And Aaron Gordon, one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA, especially when they run into matchups, whether it's Kevin Durant, LeBron James. He has the athleticism and the size to slow those guys down just enough. I love Nikola Jokic. I love the Nuggets here. They should be the favorite. Not quite as big as Boston because of the strength of the conference, but I still think this thing should be even money for the Denver Nuggets.
Well, you guys are really going out on a limb there. I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns to upset the apple cart because this team is healthy. They won 49 games and they did not have the big three healthy for a lot of those games. But it's not just the big three, talking about Beal, Durant, and Booker, but Nurkic is playing well. Grayson Allen is playing well. Top 10 defense over the last couple of months of the season. That they had a murderer's row schedule to finish the season and they went 7-3. And oh yeah, they won twice in Denver this season. So if there's one team that can take down the Nuggets, I think it's the Phoenix Suns.
The only other team I saw other than Denver, and you know, I like Jokic, like I think we're related. Like I think I'm one of the Jokic brothers all tatted up sitting behind the basket. Like, I mean, I argue he should won the MVP 4 straight years. There's no two ways about it. The only other team that I would make a small case for, believe it or not, is Dallas. Because I have the great player. They were 16-2 before their last 2 games of the regular season. And when they put Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup, they suddenly became this defensive monster on the inside. What, no center had more than 16 points against them in the last 18 games, and there was a bunch of good players? We kept killing it on the props. Suddenly, they now play defense. It's the Nuggets, don't get me wrong. But if I were going to pick a second team, I think we've hit it. You go Suns, you go Dallas, but man, that West is just brutal. All right, pick to win the whole thing. Let's make it quick. We got to do it. Look, if you like the Celtics and Denver, if you want to go exacta, that's plus 250 if you want to call both of them. That's probably the better way to go, right? Plus 250, and you get the Celtics and Denver. But Tim Doyle, what's your pick to win the whole thing? Let's move it.
A hilarious Maverick story. The GM, Nico Harrison, and I were at a game together, and I said, you guys need a lot of help. He didn't find my comment to be too funny. Give me the Nuggets here, plus 300. I'm going down with the Joker. He makes hard baskets, and there's still value here, so give me Denver.
I'm right there with you, Tim. It's the Denver Nuggets 3-1. We haven't even talked about some of the altitude advantage that they get after those long 7-game series. When you get to that point in the season, they're the best team with the best player, in my opinion. They are battle tested. They've been there before. We've seen Boston choke many times. I like the Denver Nuggets here, 3-1.
I'll take a shot 16-1 on the Sixers. I do not believe this is the same team. They've got a better coach. They're healthy. And like I said, they led the NBA in net rating when they were healthy in the first part of the season.
Look, I like Celtics Denver exacta at plus 250. And if you think Denver's going to win, that goes to 650 Denver to beat the Celtics in the final. So you could do that. If you believe in the Celtics, instead of going Nuggets 300, you go Nuggets over the Celtics at plus 650 and take that one if you wanted instead. But yeah, I could see where you're headed there. All right, let's go recap and see where we are. NBA, man, I'm into it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Look at that. Look at those handsome gents. Tim Doyle got the shoulder slug right there. Look at that. One shoulder closer. Look at Larry. Larry's got that I know smile right there. I know I'm right. And Mike McClure decided to go with the beard, looking good. And there are your selections. Everybody kind of likes Denver. You know, you get the Joker. When the pay window opens up, that guy was certainly there every game last year. All right, NFL draft props, the one you got to play right now. That one's coming at you next. I'm Erik Kuselias. Yeah, SportsLine. Down to single digits before the NFL draft, right? Week from Thursday, we get going round 1. So let's put the NFL draft on the clock. I'm Erik Kuselias, Mike McClure, Larry Hartstein. Give me your best one, right? I mean, I always like when we just get right to it. No sense messing around, right? Let's go right for the lobster tail. Forget the claws and fighting and all that. Let's go right to the best part of it. What is your best NFL draft prop? Larry, you're first.
Joe Alt from Notre Dame to go number 7 to the Titans. It's only minus 105. It's a no-brainer pick. You get a guy who's almost 6'9", 322 pounds, your starting left tackle for 10 to 15 years to protect Will Levis. He is clearly the number one offensive lineman in the draft. And you look at the odds, it's getting even a little bit juicier on Joe Alt because it's such a no-brainer pick. Dominant in the run game, dominant in the pass game. That's what the Titans should do and will do at number 7.
I am right there with you, Larry. It's Joe Alt. Remember, EK, we did a show about this earlier, and I said first offensive lineman minus 250, absolutely free money. That is ballooned to minus 500, and it has not moved enough. That's one where you may not even get an odd on it by the time the draft actually starts. Larry's dead on. Joe Alt is coming off the board first. You look at what's going to happen in the draft, it's going to be 4 quarterbacks and 2 wide receivers. The Titans are absolutely locked in to taking an offensive tackle. Alt is the man here. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. Joe Alt to be 7th overall.
I like Brock Bowers to the Jets. Mike, you were on this first. I was on either offensive line or tight end for the Jets, and I was sort of like straddling the fence. You leapt and said, nope, it's going to be Brock Bowers. And then eventually I came down. Every time I look at this, the number's getting worse for me. I mean, this was plus 250 2 days ago. And then yesterday we did it, and it was plus 210. Now it's down to plus 185 and shrinking. They basically are going to go offensive line or tight end. They're in win now mode. They're not a team that needs a specific defensive guy that's going to fit when they have the number 10 overall selection. So it's going to be offense, it's going to be offensive line, or it's going to be tight end. If Alt is off the board, Bowers is the natural fit. They need it, and we can see that tight ends make immediate impact. Look at Sam Laporta. Look at Dalton Kincaid. He is a better prospect than either of those, and he'll fit perfectly into that Jets offense. Makes too much sense. All right, quickly, give me a long shot draft prop. I don't really have one. Mike, you're first.
I'll take a shot with McCarthy, JJ McCarthy to the Broncos still. You can find this 9-1. I think there's a chance they end up trading up to grab him, and he ultimately lands in the top 4 picks. I think that Sean Payton really wants a quarterback that is a traditional throwing quarterback, which is exactly what McCarthy is with those routes. And I think Harbaugh hyping him up absolutely helps. So I love McCarthy here as a long shot to the Broncos 9-1.
You know, guys, the jury is still out on Bryce Young, the number 1 overall pick. You have to give him some weapons to find out if he is going to be a good quarterback. So they trade for Deontay Johnson. And now what if the Carolina Panthers at number 33 draft Xavier Worthy out of Texas, a guy with 4.21 speed in the 40, the perfect complement to Deontay Johnson, who runs all those very precise short routes, plus 1,100. It's a deep wide receiver draft. So I believe Worthy could fall to the 2nd round.
The only one I found, and I don't even love it, is Marvin Harrison to be picked 3rd overall at plus 1,700. What if the Patriots don't love Drake May? And what if somebody loves Harrison and says, I've got to trade up to jump Arizona to grab him? There's a couple of different ways this could come in, and it's, 15-1, 17-1. That would be the only one that I would like. Well done. So you see what we want you to do with the draft. It's going to be fun, right? And you want to make sure that you're involved in what we're doing, because we're constantly looking at these odds for you and making sure you have everything you need. But this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for letting me sit in. That's right. Early Edge, a daily SportsLine betting podcast. You can scan that right now and you will be all set. But that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for being aboard. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I'll be with you 6 o'clock Eastern over on .com for everything you need. I'm Erik Kuselias. Have a great rest of your day.